determination has shaped the growth story of India. Indian of the Year 2023 brought together the real heroes whose work and contribution touched the lives of millions.
You are actually giving us limelight to India's environment.
It was a night to honor those who stand in the face of adversity and danger. The heroes of Uttarkashi garnered recognition, earning a special mention to enthusiastic applause. The NDRF Director General and rat miners who rescued 41 workers from the Silkyara tunnel were true heroes.
जिंदगी तो सर इतनी बदल गई है हमारी। शाहरुख सर से मुलाकात हो रही है और आप जैसे बड़े-बड़े लोगों से बातें हो रही है। मैं बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ आप सभी लोगों का और CNN न्यूज़ का।
2023 was etched in history when India's space agency demonstrated unparalleled prowess with Chandrayaan 3. An Indian of the Year would be incomplete without celebrating that outstanding achievement.
Sample from moon to understand what went wrong is not possible.
Yeah.
So we were working on hypothesis and then trying to recreate what could have gone wrong. And we went through a series of simulation, testing, etc. And once we had the confidence to do it, we made it a point to understand that the whole crux of that issue is fully understood. Then only we are taking the chance. And that chance was taken with full confidence.
The marquee event of 2023 closed with high energy, leaving us all wanting more. And this year, Indian of the Year 2024 promises to be bigger and better.
Indian of the Year kicks off in the next 1 hour. Now in a major breakthrough, shifting focus, the Mumbai police has detained one person in the Saif Ali Khan attack case. CNN News 18 also accessed footage of the attacker where he is clearly seen climbing the stairs with his face fully covered. The attacker spent around 53 minutes inside the house. He can be seen entering the building around 1:37 a.m. and leaving around 2:33 a.m. in the morning. So clearly he was inside the home for nearly an hour. The family of the suspect spoke to the media saying that he is a carpenter by profession, adding that they were unaware of the incident. Kareena Kapoor's team confirmed that Saif's condition is stable with no vital organs damaged. Doctors have recovered part of the blade from Saif's body. Leelavati Hospital doctors have said that it was indeed a close call for Saif Ali Khan. Doctors have said that his movements will remain restricted for a week and he has now been shifted to a special room, adding that the police might record his statement by today itself. He is likely to be discharged in the next 2 to 3 days. The police are also interrogating 2 labourers who were carrying out maintenance work on the terrace of Saif Ali Khan's building.
दो निशान, 2 जख्म हाथ पे थे और एक गर्दन में था जो प्लास्टिक सर्जरी डॉक्टर लीना जैन मैडम ने रिपेयर किए हैं और मैंने स्पाइन का जो घाव था जहाँ पे शार्प ऑब्जेक्ट अंदर लॉज हुआ था और अंदर ड्यूरा टेयर करके स्पाइनल फ्लूइड आ रहा था, वो ऑपरेशन करके ऑब्जेक्ट निकाला और ड्यूरा रिपेयर करके वुंड रिपेयर कर दी। बहुत अच्छी कंडीशन है, वो चल सकते हैं, बात कर सकते हैं। उनको नॉर्मल डाइट हमने शुरू किया है और आईसीयू से हम रूम में शिफ्ट कर दिया। कोई अभी इश्यू नहीं है, वो एकदम नॉर्मल है, कोई पैरालिसिस नहीं और कोई भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं।
He is doing presently very well. His parameters have improved. He is being shifted from ICU to a special room for him. Today we will be keeping visitors in check because we want him to take rest. बहुत boldly behave किए हैं। वो खुद इतना इंजुरीज के साथ छोटे बच्चे के साथ अपना हॉस्पिटल में खुद वॉक इन आए हैं। मतलब हमने तो अंदर उनको वॉक इन आते देखा। He did not even take the stretcher.
And breaking news coming in when it comes to the investigation into the attack. Sources have told CNN News 18 that no arrests have been made by the Mumbai police so far. Several have been detained and questioned. Now, after questioning several individuals, many have been allowed to leave as well. The Mumbai police has not found a major clue so far when it comes to this entire investigation. I'm joined by my colleague Anshul Singh on the broadcast. Anshul, give us the details. This is not a good sign when it comes to the investigation. Clearly, we can see the individual on camera. We can see him entering the house. We can see him leaving the house. He spent around an hour inside the building where he stabbed Saif Ali Khan 6 times, bringing him pretty close to death. Thankfully, he's out of any danger, but no lead so far from the Mumbai police.
Well, definitely, this is becoming a massive headache for the Mumbai police at this point in time. The person who was suspected to be the accused, after verification, it has been found that he was actually not the same person who the Mumbai police was looking for. Over the last 24 to 36 hours, Mumbai police has constantly detained a lot of people. They have been questioned about their whereabouts, where were they, and also they have been shown the CCTV grab of the accused in which his face has come out, and the Mumbai police is trying to find out if at all he has any sort of involvement with any sort of gang or robbery gang that might be operating out here in Mumbai. But at this point in time, absolutely no leads have come out. The background of the said accused is also still being verified. The police has found no criminal record of the said accused in their records, and that is the reason why it is becoming absolutely a massive headache for the Mumbai police to pin down his exact location and to get anywhere close to him. Initially, technical surveillance was being done on the said accused. The CCTV footages from the house of Saif Ali Khan and the adjoining areas were taken. The entire dump was taken, and Mumbai police is still going through that dump. But it has only been another spotting that has happened at the Bandra railway station yesterday itself, and since then there has been no clarity as to where the accused could be. Mumbai police sources have told CNN News 18 that it could be a very long haul before they can get their hands on the accused, because now they are relying on human intelligence, the old school way of tracking a criminal. The Mumbai police sources that are deployed on the ground, all of them have been activated now to figure out as to where could the accused have gone, where could be his exact location, because this is a massive setback that the Mumbai police does not have any criminal record per se of the said accused, which means that he is new into Mumbai or in the crime scene out here in Mumbai. That is the reason why the Mumbai police has absolutely no record, and hence it is becoming a massive task, a Herculean task for the Mumbai police to track him down and then bring him to the books. At this point in time, zero arrests have been made in this entire matter. The leads that the Mumbai police was getting, that has also slowed down now, because the suspicions, the people who might have done this, more than 36 hours has elapsed. It is not wrong for the Mumbai police to also believe that he might well have now crossed the borders of Maharashtra, and hence it is going to be a very long haul before they can get their hands on the accused, is what the Mumbai police believes now.
Absolutely. Anshul, you've been outside Saif Ali Khan's residence as well. Clearly, the big question on a lot of minds is, how was this person able to enter that building? He was barefoot, he was wearing a mask, he was able to walk up the stairwell to the 11th, 12th floor, then spent around an hour inside the building. Then after attacking Saif Ali Khan, he was able to exit through the fire exit and make his way out of this entire complex. Give us an overview of the security arrangements around this building, because it baffles the mind how this man was able to enter the building, stay in that house for an hour and then exit with such ease.
Well, definitely, but if you look at the entire building, it is a 12th floor building, and only 6 families live there. Each flat is a duplex complex, which means that a person who could actually afford a duplex out here in Mumbai, especially in an area like Bandra, definitely it has to be a high-profile person. And in fact, in that entire building, Saif Ali Khan and Kareena Kapoor live in the top 2 floors, whereas Saif Ali Khan's kids, that is Sara Ali Khan and Ibrahim Ali Khan, they live on the 7th and 8th floor of the same building itself. It is a building in which very high-profile people live. There is constant vigilance of guards that is present over there. CCTV cameras have been installed at each and every places. Now, this is one of the reasons why the Mumbai police believes that this could be an inside job. A person who had access inside the building might have given the exact route to the accused to enter the building, avoiding all the CCTV cameras, avoiding the gaze of the vigilant guards that are present over there, and that is the reason why we saw that Mumbai police since this morning have been questioning 2 labourers that were working inside the residence of Saif Ali Khan over the last 1 week. But still, even after that detailed interrogation, nothing substantial has come out from that entire interrogation. So this is being seen as a setback. 36 to 40 hours now approximately have already elapsed, and still there is absolutely no clue as to where the accused could be, how far has he been able to run. Because if you see the entire CCTV sequence of events that the Mumbai police has been able to establish, or what the Mumbai police believes at this point in time, the theory on which they are working is that a person who had access from inside the residence of Saif Ali Khan told him that this could be one of the routes through which you can enter. The accused, what the Mumbai police believes, entered from the back wall of Saif Ali Khan's residence, and from there he climbed on pipes, and then eventually when he reached a stage where the pipes had ended, he got into the stairwells, and then from the stairs he got access to the building, to the roof of Saif Ali Khan, and from there, from the roof he got into the AC vent, and from the AC vent he entered into the hall of Saif Ali Khan. This is one theory that the police is working on, that this could be one of the routes that could have been taken by the accused, because remember, there is no signs of any sort of forced entries inside the house of Saif Ali Khan. So this is one route that the police believes that he might have taken to gain access to the residence of Saif Ali Khan. And post that, the police also believes that the intention of the accused was to just conduct a robbery. And once he got confronted with the nanny of the youngest son of Saif Ali Khan, Jay, at that point in time, when the house help or the nanny asked him that what is it that you want, he said, I want 1 crore rupees. But as soon as he saw Saif Ali Khan, he got panicked, stabbed him and ran away from the spot. Because if you see the manner in which he has ran away from the building, definitely it seems like that this was not a planned thing, and this was done out of panic, and this is something that the Mumbai police believes at this point in time.
Right. Thank you, Anshul, for getting us the latest from the investigation. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to shift focus to these two visuals which have emerged in connection to this attack on Saif Ali Khan. In one visual, you can see the individual, the attacker, entering the building. This is on the 11th to 12th floor of this building where Saif Ali Khan lives with Kareena Kapoor Khan and their two young sons. His elder children, Ibrahim Khan and Sara Ali Khan, live on the 7th and the 8th floor. These are all duplex flats, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to this building. So you can see that around 1:37 a.m. this person is entering the building. His face is covered, he's got a backpack and he is barefoot. Clearly he wanted to enter as silently as possible. He didn't want to arouse any suspicion with his entry. He didn't want to wake anyone up. 1:37 a.m. where pretty much everyone was asleep inside the building. Then at 2:33 a.m., which is nearly an hour after the entire altercation with Saif Ali Khan, you can see that his face is uncovered and he's wearing shoes. So the theory is that he stole a pair of shoes from the home of Saif Ali Khan so that he could escape very easily. Or the other theory is he was carrying those shoes so that he could make a swift escape. So his face is uncovered, and this has helped the police trying to investigate this entire matter. Even though no arrests have been made so far, they've been trying to ascertain this individual's identity. As I was saying, he can be seen walking barefoot in these visuals, trying to walk up the stairs. He walked all the way up to the 11th, 12th floor when it comes to entering the home of Saif Ali Khan and Kareena Kapoor Khan, and over here seen wearing shoes. So clearly it seems that either he was carrying those pair of shoes or he was given those pair of shoes or he stole them from inside the home of Saif Ali Khan. The question remains, could this have been an inside job? Could someone from the security staff, could someone from the domestic staff have helped this individual enter and exit the building with such ease? As the investigation continues, let's listen in to the reactions coming in.
जो आप कह रहे हैं वो बहुत ही सैड इंसिडेंट है एंड हम सब कंसर्न हैं, हम सब फ्रेटर्निटी से बहुत कंसर्न है. वी होप दैट सैफ्स हेल्थ इज़ बेटर एंड वी होप दैट ही इज़ फीलिंग बेटर. और आई थिंक हम सब बहुत ही शॉक थे जो हुआ उसके साथ. इतनी पर्सनल स्पेस में बहुत ही मुश्किल चीज़ है अब्जॉर्ब करना मुंबई जैसे शहर में. यहाँ पे आई एम श्योर पुलिस पूरी कोशिश कर रही है. ऐसा होता नहीं है वहाँ पे. बहुत ही मुंबई सेफ शहर है. यहाँ पे आप प्राउडली कहते हैं कि 2 बजे 3 बजे भी अगर आपका कोई फैमिली मेम्बर, कोई लेडीज़ हो, वो अगर रोड पर जाएं तो बहुत सेफ रहता है. तो बहुत ही शॉकिंग इंसिडेंट है एंड वी आर होपिंग दैट उनकी हेल्थ जल्दी रिकवर करे. वी आर होपिंग एंड प्रेइंग फॉर हिम ऑल द टाइम.
I condemn the attack on film actor Saif Ali Khan and I wish for his speedy recovery. The industry is in a shock after this incident. It's unbelievable that how this attacker reached the 12th floor. It's a matter of investigation, and it will be known very soon. We have full trust in Mumbai Police, the government of Maharashtra, who will definitely do justice to Saif Ali Khan and his family, who have suffered the worst possible trauma.
सैफ अली खान अपने फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के, हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के बहुत ही अच्छे कलाकार है, बड़े कलाकार हैं। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी पूरा ध्यान देकर इस केस पर है, और ऐसा मुंबई में होना अच्छी बात नहीं है, लेकिन मुंबई को सेफ रखने का काम जरूर हमारी सरकार कर रही है। इंसिडेंट तो हो चुका है, जरूर मुंबई पुलिस मतलब जो मुख्य आरोपी है उसको पकड़ने के लिए वो अनेक टीम बनाई गई है, और बहुत ही जल्द मतलब जो मुख्य आरोपी पकड़ा जाएगा।
सैफ अली खान रहो या तो कोई भी रहो, जिसी के ऊपर अटैक हो जाता है वो दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। उसके कोई भी सपोर्ट नहीं करेगा, उसका निंदा ही करेगा। आरोपी को अटैक करना ये सरकार की ड्यूटी है, वो सरकार कर रही है। विपक्ष को सिर्फ जात का नाम लेके पॉलिटिक्स करना, ये उनकी अभी लाइन चलती आ रही है। दो जात जात में तनाव बढ़ाना और अपनी राजनीति करना, ये उनका अभी एजेंडा है। इसलिए उनकी बातों को हम तो कभी ज्यादा महत्व भी देते नहीं, और हमको उससे कोई लेन देन भी नहीं। सरकार अपना काम पूरा करेगी। होम मिनिस्टर नहीं तो वहां की सब मुंबई की पुलिस उसके पीछे लगी, और 30 मेरे ख्याल से एक आरोपी पकड़ा भी गया।
So as the investigation continues into this case, there are many unanswered questions that have been thrown up, especially by those visuals accessed by CNN News 18, where you can see the attacker enter the building and exit with ease. Thankfully, Saif Ali Khan and his entire family is safe. He is out of danger. But these are the visuals which we caught yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, where this attacker was seen exiting the building around 2:33 a.m. in the morning. But this has thrown up many unanswered questions when it comes to how this man was able to enter the building and exit with such ease. How did the intruder evade the security system and enter with a hexer blade is the one big question emerging. Was there support for this individual when it comes to the domestic staff and the security staff? Because this is not some random residential building. This is the building belonging to high-profile actors Saif Ali Khan and Kareena Kapoor Khan and their young children. Even Saif Ali Khan's adult children as well live in the same building. Did the intruder have knowledge of the entry and escape route beforehand? That is something that's also a key point of the investigation. Was the intruder assisted by someone inside the building? All theories indicate that this could have been an inside job. But for now, the Mumbai police, as my colleague Anshul was pointing out, they have no leads. It seems that this individual is not from Mumbai. He must have come from outside, is what top Mumbai police sources have told CNN News 18. Was the intruder's motive just theft or to cause harm? Clearly, he seemed to enter the building. He didn't want to arouse any suspicion. He wanted to keep it very quiet. The question also remains, was he planning to abduct one of the young children of Saif Ali Khan? That's also a big question that's been thrown up. Was the intruder inside Saif's residence for 53 minutes? That is one key question that's emerging. He entered at 1:37 a.m. in the morning and exited at 2:33 a.m. in the morning. What transpired in that 53 minutes beyond the altercation with Saif Ali Khan? How did the intruder enter barefoot but exit with shoes on? Was he carrying those shoes inside the backpack? Did he steal those shoes from the home? That's also a big question emerging from this case. Stabbed Saif 6 times but no trace of blood on his clothes. Another big question emerging from this entire case. So this is what the Mumbai police has to contend with, ladies and gentlemen. Thankfully, Saif Ali Khan is safe. He is likely to be discharged in the next 2 to 3 days. But for now, the Mumbai police have no leads. They've not made any arrests. Even the suspect who they thought was involved in this entire crime, he has been let go because the police currently have no lead answers from the Maharashtra government. We will continue to track all the developments coming in. For now, a quick break. More news and updates on the other side.
Thursday, actor Saif Ali Khan underwent surgery to remove a knife in his spine and neck after being attacked by an intruder in his home early that morning. Doctors told the media about the surgery, adding that Khan had been moved to the intensive care unit. A doctor explained to reporters that the procedure was necessary to take out the knife lodged into the body and address a spinal fluid leak caused by the injury. Since the news broke out, everyone has been wondering what is this spinal fluid that leaked. Let's understand this. The spinal cord is covered by a cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, to protect the spinal cord. Now, this fluid is covered by a plastic layer called a durometer. When there is an injury, such as stabbing in Khan's case, it may result in a dural tear where the dura, which is otherwise a tough protective membrane, is ruptured. This tear can lead to a cerebrospinal fluid or CSF leak. This leak is dangerous because there is a risk of infection spreading to both the spinal cord and brain. It can cause a condition known as meningitis, which can be life-threatening. Besides meningitis, CSF leak can also result in other diseases which can lead to headaches, seizures, and in some cases paralysis. In the case of a minor leak, treatment may only require medications for 8 to 10 days. However, in case of major CSF leak, it is necessary to seal the tear via surgery. Now, the procedure is called duroplasty or dural closure, and it is recommended treatment for a CSF leak. You will be surprised how this fluid protects the brain and spinal cord. The fluid acts as a soft pillow which protects the brain and spinal cord from bumps and injuries. It also provides floating support to the brain by reducing the brain's weight so that it does not press on the skull. Not just support, it also provides a nutrition supply to the brain and removes waste along with protecting from infection. It keeps the brain and spinal cord clean and helps prevent infections. Its leakage can lead to extremely crippling symptoms as it can give intense headaches that often get worse when standing. A person will feel extreme dizziness, nausea, neck stiffness, and sensitivity to light. The fluid also helps in controlling pressure inside the head and creates a balance for the brain to work properly. In simple terms, CSF keeps the brain and spinal cord safe, healthy, and balanced. While in Saif Ali Khan's case, the extent of the injury is unknown, doctors told News 18 that recovery depends on the extent of surgical intervention, where physical activity is limited for 2 to 4 weeks to avoid re-injury or re-leak. In the long term, normal activities are gradually resumed over several weeks and most patients recover completely with the right treatment.
Recently, one of the famous actor of the country is in the news and because he sustained the spinal cord stab injury. Here is some information that you should know. Spinal cord injury.
Welcome back, and in a strong message from the BCCI to Team India after the shambolic 3-1 loss to Australia, the BCCI has announced a new set of rules for players. The new rules place restrictions on personal staff and the presence of players' families on tours to promote discipline and unity in the team. Participation in domestic matches has been made mandatory for players, and exceptions can be made, but only under extraordinary circumstances. The BCCI has also barred players from engaging in personal shoots or endorsements during ongoing series or tours. Let's get you an overview of those new rules that have been pushed out by the BCCI in an effort to boost unity in the locker room and at the same time to boost discipline among Team India, among the boys in blue after that 3-1 loss to Australia. Number one, mandatory domestic participation. It's mandatory for all national team members for their selection and their central contracts. The player must travel with the team is also a travel policy that's been put in place by the BCCI. Separate arrangements with families has been discouraged by the BCCI. Baggage limitations is also something that the BCCI has put forward. Players must adhere to these baggage limitations when it comes to traveling abroad. Excess costs to be borne by the players if there's an excess in baggage beyond the required limit. Personal staff restricted on tours as well as series along with families if needed. Approval must be taken from the BCCI. Players must coordinate with the team management when it comes to equipment logistics. Excess cost for separate arrangements will be borne by the player, is the pitch coming in from the BCCI. Players must stay for the entire practice session. Also something the BCCI is putting out to boost discipline among the boys in blue. Players must travel together to and from the venue as well. No shoots or endorsements during ongoing series and tours. Another rule coming in from the BCCI, and one crucial one visit per series by the partner or children of the players. Arrangements allowed only if the player remains abroad for over 45 days. So that limitation also coming in. Players are required to be available for official shoots and promotions. This is to do with the BCCI and official shoots and promotions. Also the fact that if you're abroad only for above 45 days, at that point only one visit is allowed from your partner or children. Players must stay with team till the end of the series, trying to keep them together. The above rule applies even if matches conclude earlier than planned. More rules coming in. This is to do with compliance. Non-compliance may lead to disciplinary action. Action may include sanctions and deduction from match fees. So strict rules coming in from the BCCI. I'm joined by my colleague Vineet, who from Cricket Next, on this gamut of rules coming in from the BCCI to boost not just morale, discipline, but even team unity. Vineet, how do you see these rules coming in from the BCCI? How is it going down with Team India?
Well, we are not really sure how will it go down with Team India, because none of the players would be commenting or be expected to comment. But what is the underlying rule here? What is the underlying message that BCCI are trying to put out is the fact that they pretty much want to say to the players, be it a senior player, be it a junior player, you are part of the team. All of you all are the same level playing field, and nobody would be given any special facilities or anything of that sort. What you could see from this is that BCCI is calling for unity, cohesion, and the reason why BCCI have put out these kind of rules, and I'll tell you, these are not the rules which are new. These are rules which have been, or guidelines which have been part of BCCI prior management Indian setup. These rules were kind of relaxed during the COVID phase. Now it is BCCI have come down very much heavily, putting out a diktat, primarily because of what we saw in Australia. And I'm not talking about the loss in Australia, but what were the behind-the-scene things that were being reported, the media leaks, the discord among the players, etc. One of the glaring examples of that was, despite the win at Perth, the Team Indian players were not celebrating it as a team. In fact, they opted to celebrate it with their families who were present at that point in time. So those kind of things were very much glaring, and BCCI coming very much, hard on the Indian team and the management. In fact, the new thing here is, of course, the sanctions that BCCI have put out, saying that if you are not complying to these rules or guidelines, there would be sanctions to the tune of missing out matches, could be an IPL match, could be chunk of their match fees being sanctioned. You could be out of the central contract as well. And remember, it was not long ago when BCCI Secretary Jay Shah, when he was there last year, he did put out the statement, a very stern message saying that domestic cricket is the priority. Someone like Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan were taken out of their central contract because they were not willing to play domestic cricket. So all in all, it's kind of, as you mentioned, trying to put out the message of unity and cohesion, and it needs to have a better coordination between the teams. Practice sessions, optional practice sessions was something that we had seen during the Dravid era and the Shastri era. Optional training sessions are generally happens on the eve of any test match or any ODI or any T20I games. But what we were seeing, the trend was nobody really turned up for these optional sessions, and in fact they opted to do their own things. But now BCCI is saying that we are doing away with the optional training sessions. If it is a training session, everybody has to be present. Same goes with the team bus travel as well. There were instances where when the team players were with their families, they opted to travel privately with their families and not within the team bus. Again, BCCI coming hard, saying that we need to have everybody in the team bus, be it during the training sessions or when the match is over, beforehand or otherwise.
Right. Thank you, Vineet, for getting us the background to these rules coming in from the BCCI. We have to wait and see how that plays out with Team India. But shifting focus, there has been a concerning rise in the number of Indian nationals who have gone missing or dead while serving in the Russian army. The Ministry of External Affairs has reported that 16 Indians are currently missing. MEA has confirmed 126 cases of Indian nationals on the front lines in Ukraine, with 96 having returned to India. 12 Indians have died and 18 are still serving in the Russian military. Earlier this week, another Indian national from Kerala died in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Another individual who was injured is currently receiving treatment in Moscow. The Indian government has strongly raised this issue with Russian authorities, urging the release of all Indian recruits. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had previously raised concerns about the safety and early discharge of Indian nationals in the Russian army during his talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin last year in July.
As of today, of all the known cases that have come to us, we have had 126 cases. Of these 126 cases of people who were serving in Russian armed forces or are serving in Russian armed forces, 96 people have already returned. They have been discharged. They have been discharged from the Russian armed forces. As per our available information, 18 Indian nationals in the Russian army remain. Out of these 16 individuals, their whereabouts are not known, and the Russian side has categorized them as missing. We remain engaged with the Russian authorities to ascertain the whereabouts of the missing Indian nationals, as also seeking early release and repatriation of those who remain. So that is the status. 12 Indian nationals have died in the conflict who were serving in the Russian army. So that should clarify.
And I'm joined by my colleague Siddhant on the broadcast. Siddhant, we know the Russian government has a reputation of spotty information when it comes to these things. And we saw that how in the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war, there was this mass deployment of individuals to the front lines. This 126 number that has been reported by the Russian authorities, could the real number be actually higher?
Well, these are the numbers that are available with the government of India on record. These are the official cases available with the government. And in fact, embassy has been following up on such cases from last 1 year. But remember, Ayushman, it's a scam which has been executed by scamsters sitting abroad in Dubai and in several other Central Asian countries. And through social media platforms, they have been recruiting Indians in Russian army. In fact, this scam was exposed for the first time in March, and after which CBI and other investigating agencies perhaps did crack down on such people involved in that nexus in India. And in fact, LOCs have also been issued against the accused sitting abroad. Now, today, the figure that has been shared by Ministry of External Affairs is shocking. 126 is the number of cases with the ministry, out of which 96 have returned. 18 are still in Russian army, and out of those 18, 16 have gone missing. Perhaps that's the category according to the Russian authorities. Now, it would really be interesting to see that how India is going to take up the case of these 16 missing Indians in Russia, and what is going to be the response of the government of Russia on this. Back to you.
Right. Thank you, Siddhant, for getting us the latest. So this remains a point of contention between the Russian government as well as the Indian government over here when it comes to the fraud by which Indian nationals are recruited into the Russian army and pushed to the front lines. As per the MEA, 126 cases have been reported on record so far, but clearly this number could be higher given the mass deployment that took place at the beginning of the conflict. We will continue to track all the developments coming in. For now, quick break. More news and updates on the other side.
On Thursday, actor Saif Ali Khan underwent surgery to remove a knife in his spine and neck after being attacked by an intruder in his home early that morning. Doctors told the media about the surgery, adding that Khan had been moved to the intensive care unit. A doctor explained to reporters that the procedure was necessary to take out the knife lodged into the body and address a spinal fluid leak caused by the injury. Since the news broke out, everyone has been wondering what is this spinal fluid that leaked. Let's understand this. The spinal cord is covered by a cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, to protect the spinal cord. Now, this fluid is covered by a plastic layer called a durometer. When there is an injury such as stabbing in Khan's case, it may result in a dural tear where the dura, which is otherwise a tough protective membrane, is ruptured. This tear can lead to a cerebrospinal fluid or CSF leak. This leak is dangerous because there is a risk of infection spreading to both the spinal cord and brain. It can cause a condition known as meningitis, which can be life-threatening. Besides meningitis, CSF leak can also result in other diseases which can lead to headaches, seizures, and in some cases paralysis. In the case of a minor leak, treatment may only require medications for 8 to 10 days. However, in case of major CSF leak, it is necessary to seal the tear via surgery. Now, the procedure is called duroplasty or dural closure, and it is recommended treatment for a CSF leak. You will be surprised how this fluid protects the brain and spinal cord. The fluid acts as a soft pillow which protects the brain and spinal cord from bumps and injuries. It also provides floating support to the brain by reducing the brain's weight so that it does not press on the skull. Not just support, it also provides a nutrition supply to the brain and removes waste along with protecting from infection. It keeps the brain and spinal cord clean and helps prevent infections. Its leakage can lead to extremely crippling symptoms as it can give intense headaches that often get worse when standing. A person will feel extreme dizziness, nausea, neck stiffness, and sensitivity to light. The fluid also helps in controlling pressure inside the head and creates a balance for the brain to work properly. In simple terms, CSF keeps the brain and spinal cord safe, healthy and balanced. While in Saif Ali Khan's case, the extent of the injury is unknown, doctors told News 18 that recovery depends on the extent of surgical intervention where physical activity is limited for 2 to 4 weeks to avoid re-injury or re-leak. In the long term, normal activities are gradually resumed over several weeks and most patients recover completely with the right treatment.
Recently, one of the famous actor of the country is in the news and because he sustained the spinal cord stab injury.
Welcome back. And a fresh twist in the Suchir Balaji death mystery. The mother of the 26-year-old former OpenAI researcher who was found dead after accusing the company of violating copyright laws made fresh allegations in an interview with Tucker Carlson. Purnima Rao, the mother of Suchir Balaji, claimed her son's death was not a suicide, adding that there have been major lapses in the investigation. In a parallel development, the San Francisco Police Department updated the status of the case. Initially labeled as a closed suicide investigation, the case has now been reclassified as an open and active investigation, raising further questions about the circumstances surrounding the death. This comes after CNN News 18 reached out to the San Francisco Police Department, raising pointed questions. Meanwhile, the medical examiner who ruled the case as suicide is also under scrutiny. The medical examiner allegedly fired a subordinate for reporting a missing skull in another case and is now facing charges of not following due procedure.
He celebrated his 26th birthday on 21st November, the day before he died. What mood do we need to give an account of his happy mood?
Well, exactly. And if you at a certain age, you know people who've killed themselves, and typically, the suicide follows a morose period of isolation. The person's sitting alone in his apartment drinking. He died the night he came back from a camping trip with his high school and college friends.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Our attorney, he came to his apartment with us, and moment he inspected his apartment, he said he had fresh supplies ordered. He has so many packets unopened. This doesn't look suicidal at all.
And I'm joined by Siddhant Mishra on the broadcast. So Siddhant, what does it look like? Does this case have the kind of momentum to move forward beyond what was the earlier ruling of a suicide case? Or in your opinion, is this case primarily doing the rounds of right-wing podcasts as well as social media?
Well, that's an excellent question, Ayushman. Look, Ayushman, whenever there in India, if I talk about the professional investigations, then if there is a dying declaration, suicide note, which is received from the spot, then perhaps a police has one reason to believe that it could be suicide. But in Suchir Balaji's case, no dying declaration, no letter on laptop or otherwise have been found. Point number one. Point number two, if the victim, immediate family is making some allegations in India, as per the Indian protocols, then police do pay attention to them. Their statements are recorded, and that particular angle is investigated if family makes some allegation. Now, in San Francisco Police's investigation, they have concluded in just 40 minutes that it's a case of suicide. They have not taken the fingerprints on the gun. They have also not given the reason where is the missing pen drive. The house was searched. They have nothing to say on that. There were no CCTV cameras. Now, how is it possible that in a Bayview area, in an apartment, in the society, there was no CCTV cameras from the main gate to Suchir Balaji's apartment? So there are a lot of doubts which the family have raised, and definitely the cops should look into that. But since they are not looking, there's a campaign which is being run, and the demand is to get the federal investigation done into the matter.
Right. Thank you, Siddhant, for getting us the latest when it comes to the storm surrounding Suchir Balaji's death. We will continue to track all the developments coming in. For now, a quick break. More news and updates on the other side.
On Thursday, actor Saif Ali Khan underwent surgery to remove a knife in his spine and neck after being attacked by an intruder in his home early that morning. Doctors told the media about the surgery, adding that Khan had been moved to the intensive care unit. A doctor explained to reporters that the procedure was necessary to take out the knife lodged into the body and address a spinal fluid leak caused by the injury. Since the news broke out, everyone has been wondering what is this spinal fluid that leaked. Let's understand this. The spinal cord is covered by a cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, to protect the spinal cord. Now, this fluid is covered by a plastic layer called a durometer. When there is an injury, such as stabbing in Khan's case, it may result in a dural tear where the dura, which is otherwise a tough protective membrane, is ruptured. This tear can lead to a cerebrospinal fluid or CSF leak. This leak is dangerous because there is a risk of infection spreading to both the spinal cord and brain. It can cause a condition known as meningitis, which can be life-threatening. Besides meningitis, CSF leak can also result in other diseases which can lead to headaches, seizures, and in some cases paralysis. In the case of a minor leak, treatment may only require medications for 8 to 10 days. However, in case of major CSF leak, it is necessary to seal the tear via surgery. Now, the procedure is called duroplasty or dural closure, and it is recommended treatment for a CSF leak. You will be surprised how this fluid protects the brain and spinal cord. The fluid acts as a soft pillow which protects the brain and spinal cord from bumps and injuries. It also provides floating support to the brain by reducing the brain's weight so that it does not press on the skull. Not just support, it also provides a nutrition supply to the brain and removes waste along with protecting from infection. It keeps the brain and spinal cord clean and helps prevent infections. Its leakage can lead to extremely crippling symptoms as it can give intense headaches that often get worse when standing. A person will feel extreme dizziness, nausea, neck stiffness, and sensitivity to light. The fluid also helps in controlling pressure inside the head and creates a balance for the brain to work properly. In simple terms, CSF keeps the brain and spinal cord safe, healthy and balanced. While in Saif Ali Khan's case, the extent of the injury is unknown, doctors told News 18 that recovery depends on the extent of surgical intervention, where physical activity is limited for 2 to 4 weeks to avoid re-injury or re-leak. In the long term, normal activities are gradually resumed over several weeks and most patients recover completely with the right treatment.
Recently, one of the famous actor of the country is in the news and because he sustained the spinal cord stab injury. Here is some information that you should know. Spinal cord injury is basically the severity is depend upon the angle of the weapon which injured the spinal cord, whether it is injuring the direct spinal cord or surrounding structure which is covered the spinal cord like dura, and there is a cerebrospinal fluid leak after that. So if we transit the spinal cord at the upper level, cervical spinal cord, there will be a paralysis of both the limbs and lower limbs, as well as your urinary control and bowel control will be lost. In thoracic spinal cord injury, if there is a transection of the spinal cord directly, there will be a lower limb paralysis only below hip. In case of lower lumbar spinal cord injury, there will be
Welcome back. L&T Chairman S.N. Subramanian sparked a massive row over his controversial call for employees to work 90 hours a week, even more than Infosys co-founder Narayan Murthy's 70-hour work week suggestion. The question remains, does Viksit Bharat need hard work, smart work, or both? With policies, efficiency and mental health in mind, what's the winning formula for India? Here is a deep dive.
Longer work hours and the fallout that takes place when you have those longer work hours. So we've talked a little bit on this show too about Japan, for example. The fact that a country now has to introduce new measures to make sure that couples have enough time, right? Couples have enough time with each other. So that can often be the fallout of long work hours. In India, with the social fabric that India has, do you think longer working hours could ever be a possibility?
Firstly, good morning and thank you for having me here. We are already doing quite long working hours. As we were just having a discussion earlier, 51% of India is working outside the average working hours. We work with consulting firms, we work with IT firms. We see people actually clocking 90 hours, 100 hours on a trot. I know people for the last 15, 18 years who have been doing that, and that's a part of life. So, you know, it's just taken and it's accepted that you have to put in long working hours. I remember back in 2004, 2005, the conversation was, if you're not putting in those hours, you're not adding value, which has now resurfaced. So will it work given the social fabric? I think it's working very well for the last so many years. Should it work, I think, is the question we need to start asking ourselves, which we are right now. You know, I think if you want to have a happier life, we need to stop somewhere.
Okay. So, Shruti, since you come from an HR background, I have to ask you the hard question here. I don't think a lot of people would mind working long if they were compensated in the same proportion. A lot of people, especially those in the startup, when they put in those hustling hours, they have an equity. They have stake in the company, and that's what drives these founders to make them work a particular way. And a lot of it comes from within as well. Do you think the problem is there? The mismatch between expectation of hours and the money that they get in return?
So two things, and I'm going to get slightly philosophical here. Yes, when you see people working those 80 hours or 70 hours or 90 hours that we are talking about, you do see people who feel happier doing those hours and they are more comfortable doing those hours, especially in the first 5, 7, 10 years of their career, because you see the money coming in, right? That quick conversion of money to material goods. You're buying the best house around, you're able to afford the best car, you're able to do your investments. And people today want to earn quickly and then take a retirement by the time they're 35, 37, so that they can spend time with their family. So to answer your question, is it related to money? I think in the first few years, yes. But by the time you're in your 40s and you've completed about 18, 20 hours, I think everybody wants to take a little bit of a backseat. Everybody wants to enjoy what they have earned. And as much as these kind of statements are coming in about putting in hours, there's equal number of people who I have seen take life easier, are doing this great work-life balance and are completely against the concept of long working hours, which is why this discussion for the last 7 days, 10 days, which is happening, because nobody enjoys it after a point in time. You know, once you've earned that amount of money, what will you do with the money? So
I'm not sure if easier is the way to put it, but anyways, Toya has a question for you.
I want to ask, Shruti, tell us, when it comes to happiness and productivity, firstly, obviously, those are two different things. So if I were to ask you, how do you make happier workers? It's different from how do you make more productive workers. But it's clear from our previous discussion with Mahesh that that is an area where India can grow in when compared to other countries, and perhaps it's a more interesting, more important area for India to look to grow in. So tell me, Shruti, I want to ask you, when you take a national perspective, what are the biggest changes Indian companies, Indian workplaces need to make to have happier workers and more productive workers?
There's a good trend we've seen is flexible working hours, which has come in. And that kind of gives people the time to spend by themselves. You know, in India, one of the things we don't have is that we don't have a mindset of abundance, where we are saying, okay, let everybody get what they want. And then as long as people are putting in the quality of work, productivity is fine. So as you very rightly are saying, there's a difference between happiness and productivity. I believe if people are happy, people will be productive any which ways. And to give people that happiness, we need to have flexible working hours. We need to be able to let people do things at their space. What is most important is, as long as my output is achieved, it doesn't matter whether I'm putting in 70 hours, 80 hours, 90 hours. The focus has very quickly moved from, and I think even my previous person, Mahesh, was saying this, the focus has very quickly moved from quality to quantity. We need to go back to quality. We need to give people the ability to do things the way they want to. We need to focus on their mental health. We need to give them time to go to follow their passion. We need to give them time to follow, to do things they want to do. One of your questions was spend time with the family. I think absolutely, let them go on vacations. Just yesterday, somebody was saying, if I take too many vacations, my organization somewhere is going to come back and say, you can't be doing that. So if you're allowed to take 30 days or X number of days or 20 days in a year, we are not allowing people to take those vacations. Somewhere we also need to force people, year end, year beginning, quarter end, just go take that break, spend that time with yourself, follow your passion, whether it's photography, whether it's just traveling. We don't do that. I think some of those things that we need to let people do, so they're happier, and then when they come back, they can really add value.
Yeah, but
we need to stop micromanaging. One of the things Indians are known for.
Yeah.
On Thursday, actor Saif Ali Khan underwent surgery to remove a knife in his spine and neck after being attacked by an intruder in his home early that morning. Doctors told the media about the surgery, adding that Khan had been moved to the intensive care unit. A doctor explained to reporters that the procedure was necessary to take out the knife lodged into the body and address a spinal fluid leak caused by the injury. Since the news broke out, everyone has been wondering what is this spinal fluid that leaked. Let's understand this. The spinal cord is covered by a cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, to protect the spinal cord. Now, this fluid is covered by a plastic layer called a durometer. When there is an injury, such as stabbing in Khan's case, it may result in a dural tear where the dura, which is otherwise a tough protective membrane, is ruptured. This tear can lead to a cerebrospinal fluid or CSF leak. This leak is dangerous because there is a risk of infection spreading to both the spinal cord and brain. It can cause a condition known as meningitis, which can be life-threatening. Besides meningitis, CSF leak can also result in other diseases which can lead to headaches, seizures, and in some cases paralysis. In the case of a minor leak, treatment may only require medications for 8 to 10 days. However, in case of major CSF leak, it is necessary to seal the tear via surgery. Now, the procedure is called duroplasty or dural closure, and it is recommended treatment for a CSF leak. You will be surprised how this fluid protects the brain and spinal cord.